So this is my big summer spearfishing trip for 2020. I was so excited for this trip. I got some friends with me. I've got David and Nathan, Craig, and I got my brother Noah. So these guys haven't really done anything like this. Of course, my brother Noah has, but the guys, they had never spearfished before. But man, I'd always tell them, man, you got to go on this next trip with me. You got to go on this next trip with me. Everyone made it. Everyone's there. Everyone's excited. So I'd given them kind of a list of things to buy. You know, hey, you're gonna need this. You're gonna need that. And you don't need all the equipment to spearfish, but these guys bought everything that I put on the list, from pole spears and flippers and goggles, you know, wetsuits, even weight belts and weights. They even bought little, you know, catch bags for your fresh fish that you just caught. And so pressure was on for me. Now that they invested all this money, I thought, oh, I hope this is a good trip. You know, and they just wanted to get out and have a good time, but I wanted it to be, you know, everything I thought it could be. But you know what? It was, you know, and there's things you can't control, like weather, right? So it was like sunny, 92 every day, which is about as good as it gets for being in the water. But even at night, you know, it would cool down to like 65, so it was this great camping weather. But more important than the weather, you know, on a spearfishing trip is you got to have clear water. So, you know, I've been to clearer water, but I've been to dirtier water too. This water, it was good. You know, they had done some construction, you know, up the river, so it was a little murky, and that's what you're seeing there. But substantially better than the last couple times that I've visited. You know, even there, it kind of looks bad there. But I think it cleared up hour by hour, and, you know, you could totally still get down there and see the fish. Now, you do have to do something called blind diving, or at least I call it blind diving. And what that is you'll see it here, is you don't really see the fish from the surface while you're breathing through your snorkel. You just dive in anticipation of running into fish. And then, you know, in that one breath, you've got to make your shot. So that happens here, and this is actually kind of a cool fish that I get. So I'm loaded up, and I dive down. You know, I'm just diving. I don't see anything. But up to the left, you'll see the tail of a fish right there. You see me notice it. So I'm trying to get it turned broadside, get a shot. I'm running out of breath. I take it. So that's like a 45-degree angle shot, which doesn't always work. Luckily, it did. You can kind of see there, it didn't shank off the fish. It went right through. So that fish, that's a walleye. And that's a rare fish for me to run into. Look at those big old teeth. That's actually the second one I've ever seen. And I noticed it at the time, and I knew if I went up for a breath and, you know, resurfaced and came down, I'd never find that fish again. So I went ahead and took that shot, even though it wasn't ideal. So this here, we're in a different spot in the river. It's only about 3 feet deep. We ditched the flippers. We got water shoes on. We're getting some more fish for the fry pan. Oh, this one. You'll love it. Okay. If there's ever a reason to go out and buy you a GoPro, right here. So everyone has fish stories, right? These unbelievable stories that, you know, you tell your friends and family and they don't believe you. Look at that pole just shaking. Wait till you see what's on the end. Look at that. So I am so pumped at the moment. I saw both fish under the rock. You know, I was looking at them, and I'm kind of aiming, and I thought, you know what, I don't care which one I get. I'm just going to go ahead and take the shot. I can't really aim any more than I am. Anyway, I did not anticipate it going through both and getting both of them there, so I'm pretty pumped. First time that ever happened. When I think about it, I realize, you know what, that probably happens more often than you'd think if you got two fish jammed under there, but, you know, it's first time for me, so I was pretty excited. So this is a night dive. I'm diving, same area we've been in. I'm about probably 15 feet deep, and I did this because I have that dive light there, you see. I was sitting there by the campfire, and I was like, man, that'd be so cool to do a night dive, you know? And I worked myself up and thought, you know what, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it and talk about it the rest of my life on how I should have done it. So I did, and you saw that catfish there. I know you'd say, why didn't you shoot that big old catfish? Well, that slowed down 50% so that you got a good look at it, you know, at real time, real speed. I was about to let it go, and that fish was already gone. So this here, we're catching crawfish. So This is probably my favorite part of the whole trip. This was an unplanned, I didn't realize how many crawfish there'd be. I'd never done anything quite like this. And it turned out so well. So we'd been seeing these crawfish all day, and we noticed they're big and there was a lot of them. But as I was down there looking for fish, I was like, man, there's like 10 times as many crawfish out. And all day they were like these little nimble ninjas that you couldn't get close to. They're skittish. If they're always taking off on you, you didn't really even waste your time trying to catch one. And I don't know everything there is to know about them, but based off this trip, it seems like they're probably nocturnal, and so they all come out at night and kind of clean up the river bottom. But also their temperament changes, like whether it's the light or whatever happens to them at night, you can just grab these things. They lost their like agility and their awareness. So we're just picking them up. So I'm kind of diving, and the other guys, you can see they're in water probably just right above their knee, and they got like the lights on their phones and stuff. Craig set this one out. I don't think he grabbed any, but the rest of us are just picking these things up. This isn't a crawfish here. This is some type of bottom feeder, and I try to catch it with my hand, but I don't have gloves on, so I didn't fully commit. I think I was afraid of getting finned or poked or pronged or whatever. Anyway, you can see our basket of crawfish there. These things are just big, clean. They look like mini lobsters, and you can tell we are so proud. We're like a bunch of little boys, with our catch there. So, we threw them in a cooler. We just packed them on ice or whatever for overnight. Look close there, man, down to the bottom right and the upper right. There's two of the biggest crawfish I've ever seen in my life. So like I said, we packed them on ice, saved them for tomorrow's dinner. Ended up catching 120 crawfish in probably, I don't want to exaggerate, but anywhere from 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. The only reason we stopped is we just felt like it was ridiculous to even catch more. So this is the following day, and we stopped at a market, bought some, boiling pots and some Louisiana fish fry and some crawfish fry, potatoes, corn, the whole deal. And, in life, there's meals that are unforgettable. This is probably the most unforgettable meal I've ever had. And, it might have just, I don't know why, it tasted amazing. None of us are chefs or anything, but we're fully capable of cooking, but none of us had really done this before. I had boiled some crawfish before, 20 or 30, but these guys had never even caught crawfish, let alone eaten them or prepared them. I love that picture. You got all the fish in front, and anyway, it was so good. You can see there we ate all 120 of them. I got my Red's apple ale. Make fun of me if you want, but I love those things with dinner. Full bellies, we ate like kings. So this is the next day, and we're out on the lake now. We're kind of preparing. By the way, that's not my jet ski or wave runner. I wish it was. Someone just kind of ditched it there, but anyway, so we're getting ready to go on the lake. This is the first time the guys have been on the lake, and it's pretty clear. I've been to Beaver Lake a few times. This was the clearest. The visibility's ever the best kind of viz that I've ever seen. So this is the largest fish that I caught the whole trip. It's a drum. I didn't know that at the time. I really didn't know what type of fish it was. I did not catch it on camera. Unfortunately, I already had the camera rolling as I backed in the lake. You kind of saw that. And when I went to hit start, of course it stopped and everything was in reverse there. So I got the before and after, but not the actual shot. Anyway, some people don't eat drum, I guess, but we cooked it up, with the rest of the fish, and it was delicious. It was just as good, if not better. Big flaky fish, and it was good. We tried 2 different fish fries. I'd never done beer battered, at least not at home. And I'll probably just buy both again, the regular fish fry and that beer battered, because they both turned out so well, but surprised at how good it was. So we're just kind of collecting more fish for the fry pan. We'd just eaten all of our crawfish the night before, and we're just trying to have another fish dinner tonight. here I think you get to see the visibility of the lake. Yeah, this gives you a little bit of an idea. You can kind of see the floor of the lake there. We're probably seeing, easily 20 feet. So I think I'm using a 5-foot pole here instead of a 7, and I think I touched that fish's head, but I ran out of pole and kind of elasticity, and it came back on me before it got the fish. So there, I just broke my pole. That was a 7-foot pole, and I was choked up so high I put too much flex on that fiberglass and it snapped on me. First time that's ever happened. I've since learned that there's a technique you can do that when you stretch that rubber band out, if you twist your pole and it wraps around the pole, it kind of keeps it from bowing too much in the middle, and it helps prevent that. So what was cool about this trip, like this scene here, is all the guys here, we're all husbands, we're all fathers, and we have our responsibilities, we love our families. But in this scene, it reminds me of how it felt to just lay that responsibility down for 2 days, and the only person you had to worry about, was you. So it was just kind of a carefree moment of just enjoying, just being present for what was going on. No distraction, no responsibility. So here on the lake, we have just moved. We were right by the dam, and now we've kind of gone around a couple coves. So I've always been told that Beaver Lake it's more clear near the dam, or kind of the north side. I don't know that to be true or fact, but water's clear there. That's probably the best we've seen. So this is my brother Noah here. This is difficult to see. There's a fish. He is so close to this fish. He just misses it. Anyway, he has a fishing pole in his other hand. I think Craig found the most poles. He probably found 8 to 10. We probably found 15 to 20 poles throughout our whole trip. So the difference with, lake spearfishing and being in the river is there's a little bit more to see. The lake is a little bit more like desolate, but it's so beautiful and just calm. Right here, I dived down after this fish. This was the most difficult fish. It's in this crack. You'll see it here. I shoot, I miss, but my pole pinned it, and I go in. You can kind of see its face there, and I just grab it around the gill and pull it out. Now, as I surface with this, you're gonna see it's kind of gross, but you'll see a little bit of intestine sticking out of this fish. I had shot this fish like 15 minutes earlier, and I kept losing it. It got off the pole, and I kept tracking it. Well, it would disappear on me, but I would see that intestine kind of like a flag flapping behind it. So as it would blend in, with the floor of the lake, I'd lose it, but then I'd see that little flag, and I kept relocating it. Anyway, I gave up on it, and I kind of told my brother about it, and he ended up locating the fish like 15 minutes later. Anyway, bound and determined to get that one, and we did. One more fish for the fry pan. So this trip, like I said, best trip I've ever been on. From the friendship and the camaraderie to the meals and the good camping. I cannot wait to go back and do it all over again, or try somewhere new. It's the end of the summer here, so I'm not going to get a chance to dive again until next year, but I can't wait. Until next time.